All right, guys, the moment of truth is here for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It's been a long time coming, but the game is finally out this week, and we're going to go over the reviews to see exactly what reviewers are saying about the game. The highs, the lows, what's good, what's not so good, and where it is right now. So right now on Metacritic, there is 70 plus reviews, 69% of them, 91% are positive. So that's going to be 75 and up. You definitely want to see that, with 5 of them being mixed. So that's going to be, not the worst, but hey, there's some issues here and there. So far, 91% to only 7% or so of them being positive to mixed. That is a phenomenal ratio so far. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. It is an 86 overall. It started out at an 87, dipped down to 85. Now it's right here at 86, and it could go up or down based off of some other reviews. I'm guessing this should have around 100 reviews when it's all said and done, considering it's The Legend of Zelda, but for right now, 86. So that's looking really good. 86 is a fantastic score. It's hard to get that high when it comes to it, and it's right around where Link's Awakening, where I felt that it could be. I was thinking around an 86 to 88 or so, and it falls right in line. So let's get into the top scores, then we'll get into some of the lower scores, then we'll get into the bottom scores to see what is going on here. So Dexterdo, they gave it a 10 out of 10, saying The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom successfully brought exciting new concepts to Nintendo's iconic series and helped revolutionize open world games. Echoes of Wisdom feels like a big step forward for classic Zelda. The game is a punchy cocktail of old school Zelda, expertly blended with modern mechanics from the series' 2 open world giants. As a result, Nintendo has created something that feels both nostalgic and uniquely fresh. It may have taken 38 years for the series' titular princess to finally get her own game, but boy, was it worth waiting for. Echoes of Wisdom not only demonstrates that Nintendo is capable of wowing Zelda fans, but it can breathe new life into a legendary series. Echoes of Wisdom is a resounding success, a masterclass in creativity, and a worthy debut title for the series' legendary princess. Wow, what a endorsement on that one. 10 out of 10 from Siliconera. They said The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom features all of the amazing hallmarks of the series, yet feels completely innovative, unique, and fresh. 10 out of 10 from Shaq News. Longtime Zelda players will be smiling from ear to ear when they roll the credits. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is full of wonderful surprises, engaging gameplay, and tons of stuff to do in the biggest top-down iteration of Hyrule yet. There is new information on that too. It is 8 times the size. The map is 8 times the size of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. So absolutely the biggest top-down 2D Zelda game ever made by a country mile. Player 2 gave it a 10 out of 10, saying the perfect evolution for the Zelda series. It feels in every way like this is Zelda's story, and this game does a great job of proving that there are many different ways to be a hero. Last 10 out of 10 score, The Enemy. They said Echoes of Wisdom is a great send-off to The Legend of Zelda's most successful era. The game is an ending point for a very clear path started by Breath of the Wild and continued in Tears of the Kingdom, of games that have unyielding faith in the player's ability to solve problems in very creative ways. All of that is combined with the structure of a classic 2D era Zelda games. All right, good stuff there. All right, let's get into the 9 out of 10 scores. We're going to start off with a 9.7 from Nintendoros. They said, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has managed to surprise me by mixing the limitless creativity that the 3D games of the franchise have been offering with the classic flavor of the 2-dimensional Zelda games. Playing as Princess Zelda is a breath of fresh air, and mechanics such as creating echoes or bind give room for many possibilities. 9.5 out of 10 from Press Start Australia. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom elegantly bridges old and new Zelda with grace and gusto. The ecosystem is inventive, the dungeon designs are strong, and the whole experience feels like everything a classic Zelda experience should be. While minor performance issues hold Echoes of Wisdom back from being everything it could be, there are only minor blemishes on an otherwise stellar adventure fit for a princess. Alright, 9.5 out of 10 from My Nintendo News. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom feels like the perfect compromise between old and new. It incorporates some of the best elements of open world design from the more recent 3D titles into the solid linear structures of the classic 2D installments to create something that feels familiar without being too stale and structured without being restrictive. No matter what your history with the series is, you'd be wise to check this one out. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Of course, launches on September 26th, 2024. All right, let's get into a 9.5 from Atomics, saying The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a game with a considerably smaller scale than the last two installments in the series, and therefore with much more earthly goals and objectives. However, Grezzo brings to the table a title with a lot of proposal that knew perfectly how to mix the whole philosophy of a franchise with its oldest and most beloved traditions by fans. This opens a completely new line of thought that tells us that smaller sized Legend of Zelda also have a place in the future. Needless to say, we are facing one of the great video games of this very strong 2024, one that of course you shouldn't miss for anything. 9 out of 10 from Gamer.nl. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a twist on the old Zelda formula that we've been craving. Classic systems like a large number of dungeons are still present, while the magic system makes for an incredible array of solutions to your problems. The name downsides, like the unintuitive item menu and the frame drops, are annoying, but otherwise do not bother this solid game. And it's very unfortunate that they weren't able to fix the frame drop issues that we did have in The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now, we have to exactly see where they're at and how they affect the game and everything like that. But so far, it definitely seems, based off of a couple reviews here, that they still have some of those frame drops that we did get in Link's Awakening Remake on the Nintendo Switch. 9 out of 10 from Gaming Bible. It may have taken nearly 4 decades, but the first mainline Zelda game with Princess Zelda in the lead role was worth the wait. This is a magnificent adventure that whizzes and pops with imagination and proudly stands shoulder to shoulder with the very best of Link's tales. If this is the Switch's final Zelda game, and surely it has to be, then we're going out on a high. 9 out of 10 from Nintendo. Nintendo reimagines the Legend of Zelda series by using Zelda herself, creating an adventure very different from those of Link. It's clever and rewarding, offering almost complete freedom to experiment and tuning this classic Zelda into a revolution of 2D sandbox games. 9 out of 10 from Nintendo Life. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom should be the new standard for top-down Zelda going forward. Rather than abandoning the classic formula, Zelda has shown that the old and the new can come together and produce wonderful results that reward experimentation and reinforce the joy of play. This is easily in contention with A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds as one of the best top-down adventures in the series, and we hope we don't need to wait another 35 years for Zelda to take a starring role again. 9 out of 10 from Power Unlimited. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom gives the princess a worthy game with a brilliant gameplay mechanic that, despite technical flaws, stimulates your brain in a classic way. 9 out of 10 from GameSpot. If Zelda's debut in the spotlight is a one-off, at least it's a memorable adventure. But hopefully this is the beginning of a new legend for the heroine. Echoes of Wisdoms brilliantly integrates Echo's system links two eras, proving that the freedom mechanics of the new age can coexist with the franchise's classic formula. Don't mistake this for a spin-off or minor entry between big mainline games. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a major moment that shouldn't be missed. 9 out of 10 from IGN as well. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is far more than some second-tier spin-off, combining the expertly crafted dungeons and item progression you'd expect from a 2D Zelda with the wild creativity provided by Tears of the Kingdom. We're going to go ahead and get into the 8 out of 10 scores. GamePro Germany with the 8.8 out of 10, saying The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom blends traditional Zelda and modern features into an all-around harmonious and beautiful package. 8.8 out of 10 from the Washington Post, saying to get a game this innovative, charming, and polished over a year after the remarkable Tears of the Kingdom is miraculous. 8.7 out of 10 from Spazio Games. Echoes of Wisdom lays the groundwork for the future of the Zelda series, offering a beautiful and exhilarating experience that blends classic elements with forward-thinking design. 8.5 out of 10 from COG Connected. Even though I love this franchise a lot, innovation is always welcome. The ecosystem is a fascinating blend of new ideas and established concepts. Using random objects and enemies isn't totally new, but making them the main form of offense is. Transplanting 3D ideas into a 2D plane is a tough challenge, but the devs have handled it nicely. I wish that Echoes were easier to scroll through and the combat could have been harder, but I love exploring every inch of the world. Even after the credits rolled, I still went back for more. If you're looking for something charming and unusual, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is right on the money. Definitely good to hear that there's more to do even afterwards in terms of a replay value. 8 out of 10 from CG Magazine. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom takes the best things from its Switch counterparts and the few of the bad ones and creates an incredible, unique, freeform top-down experience. 8 out of 10 from Game Reactor UK. Is Echoes of Wisdom the perfect blend of old and new? Not quite, because despite the great freedom, some echoes are simply more reliable than others, which makes you wonder if the great freedom is really necessary. Nevertheless, the Princess's debut game is the best example yet of a Zelda game where two very different design philosophies are allowed to complement and not trump each other, which is why it can be recommended to all fans, new and old. 8 out of 10 from The Gamer. Despite how much joy I minded conquering its temples and delving into its many rifts, at times it doesn't push the ambition far enough. That never stops Echoes from being a warm hug of the video game that entrapped me from start to finish, but it does leave me infinitely more curious about what the future holds. Now Zelda has helmed her first epic outing, it's only a matter of time until she goes into bigger and better things. 8 out of 10 from VG247. Really, Echoes of Wisdom feels like the perfect sign-off for the Switch with new hardware reportedly on the horizon. It's a colorful, accessible epic that pushes its console to the limits with all of the mechanical depth and invention, artistic design, whimsy, and spirit of adventure that you'd expect from a first-party Nintendo adventure. Games Radar Plus with an 8 out of 10 says, in all, Nintendo and Grezzo have pulled off a surprisingly refreshing retooling of the Link's Awakening's engine. All hail Princess Zelda. RPG site 8 out of 10. The result is a game that is the definition of a truly mixed experience. But if you take the rough and underdeveloped with the smooth and innovative, there's a lot of fun to be had. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is perhaps a victim of being part of the series that has one of the highest batting averages of any franchise out there. What is good by Zelda standards is great to many other franchises and publishers. This is by no means an earthshaker that some Zelda games are, but it sits up there with many other classic 2D Zeldas just fine. I just wish Zelda herself felt a bit more defined and present throughout, given this is her first true playable debut. So that was pretty much all of the 8 out of 10 scores. There are some 7s, then we'll get into some of the 6s as well. So Digital Trends with a 7 out of 10 and says, Echoes of Wisdom's best parts are the ones that break away from what's expected. My favorite moments largely happen in Still World Rifts, where I need to carve my own path through twisted snippets of Hyrule's world using echoes. I'm attuned with Zelda most when I find a large gap I can't pass, but realize I can get to the other side by grabbing a hold of a flying towel with my bind ability and following its path. In a clever puzzle platform moment like that, I feel like I'm tapping into her third of the Triforce. I'm using her wisdom to meet any challenge that arises, and I'm doing that by drawing on her connection to all things within her kingdom and communicating her eternal royalty through tangible play. That's interesting how I think this guy might have been trying a little hard on that one, but hey, I appreciate the thought. All right, let's get into the next one here. 7 out of 10 from PlayerEssence and says, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom follows a different approach than you are used to from the series. Instead of an action-adventure game, you play a puzzle adventure. This generally works out well. The gameplay is fun, with a fairly large world in which there is a lot to do. The puzzles are interesting and sometimes quite challenging in the dungeons. What does not work so well is choosing the echoes. At a certain point, you get so many that choosing takes a lot of time, which interrupts the action for too long. The optional rifts also become a bit monotonous quite quickly. The biggest thorn in the side is the performance, with frequent changing frame rate and resolution, which makes the game not play well. That affects the experience. If the technical side is or being addressed, you can add a whole point to the final score. So absolutely, the technical performance of this game is kind of what's holding it back a bit more from maybe being in that 90 category or a little bit higher on the 80 scale here. So let's go ahead and move into the 6 out of 10 scores here. VGC with a 6 out of 10 and says, despite some ambitious ideas, beneath the surface, Echoes of Wisdom is surprisingly uneven Zelda adventure. Few of its headline mechanics are utilized to their potential, which means that, while enjoyable and charming, it ultimately feels less essential than other modern 2D entries. All right, last one here, guys. Guardian with a 6 out of 10. It says, it's great to finally get to play as Zelda, but working out how to take an active without being able to fight is rather hard work. Very interesting. I think they're talking about the Echo system to where you don't necessarily just have a sword normally. She has a sword fighter form, but you don't have that normally. You have to figure out other ways to defeat enemies, and that might not be for everyone. So, all right, guys. Those are the reviews. It seems once again that there is a lot of innovation and cool things in this game. If you like top-down 2D Zeldas, if you like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and a mismatch of all of those, then this game is going to be for you. It's got some charming elements to it. It's got a huge map size, a lot of content to do, and it's a fun game to play. But some of the things that drag it down are the technical performance, and not everybody is in love with the Echo system and how it's utilized in certain situations. So, what do you guys think overall with The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom? I'm going to be picking up the game and playing it myself, so I can't wait to give you guys my impressions, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch and RPG videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.